Welcome back, folks, to another Membership Machine Show special. In this episode, it's going to be our final show in a series where we've been talking about email, everything that you need to know about sending out, marketing, and all types of email on WordPress with our expert, Haroon. So this is going to be the last show of the series. We are determined that this is going to be the last show of a series of 3. I've got my guest, Haroon. So Haroon, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the new viewers of this particular episode?
Certainly. Thank you, Jonathan. And hello, everyone. This is Haroon. I've been working in the tech industry for the past 23 years and in the WordPress ecosystem for around a decade and a half, roughly 15 years or so, probably more. And over the years, I've acquired a set of skills that involves pretty much making advanced plugins and advanced tools within the WordPress ecosystem work with each other, knowing the right tools for accomplishing pretty much anything that can be accomplished using WordPress, and third-party tools and services that play well with WordPress as well, which is pretty much, for the most part, the subject of this series. So let's get on with it.
Yes, Haroon works with WP-Tonic as a consultant. He deals with all the more difficult projects and issues that the rest of my team do not want to touch. So he gets passed on to poor Haroon, but he gets well paid for it. So where are we going to start in our final discussion about this subject, Haroon? Where do we start?
So let me first share my screen. And in our last session, which was the second part, I discussed a lot of slides without showing them because I'd switched over to my face during our chat and I forgot to switch to the slides. So for the people who are tuning in after watching the previous show, without going through the content, let me just quickly scroll the slides so that you can reference them. And later on, we'll be uploading the slides behind newsletter opt-in. Whenever I get the time for it, I'll do that and we'll share it with you as well. So the slides that we missed start off from, I think, this one. So we had started talking about recommended WordPress-based sending plugins, and next, recommended campaign software, in which you actually manage the list and compose the newsletters and compose your campaigns and send. And then we discussed some specific campaign software, including free version of MailPoet, Mailster, Groundhog, and a lot of what's mentioned about Groundhog here applies to Fluent CRM as well. And then Sendy. So I think we hadn't discussed Sendy yet. We had stopped at Groundhog. So we're going to discuss Sendy, or maybe we did. Did we discuss Sendy and Mautic?
I think a little bit. Yeah, I think we did actually a little bit.
Okay. And then we discussed, I think, recommended opt-in forms. Well, let's just go through.
I don't think. Sendy and Mautic. Let's start with Sendy. I think that'd be a good place.
So if you are not locked into the WordPress ecosystem per se in terms of your newsletters, if you are, for any reason, you just want to keep your newsletter separate from your WordPress website, you want to keep your campaign software and the entire sending process separate from a WordPress website so that it could have its own resources. It may not affect your WordPress site's hosting resources, just keeping it on another server. So then Sendy is an amazingly built solution. It's, I think, for $59 or $69, I don't remember. It's like pretty affordable. And you pay once and then you get every minor release of that version. So let's say you pay for 6.1 and then you don't need to pay till version 7 comes out. 6.2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you're good. So it's not like you have to pay per year. And even when 7 comes out, you're still good to continue using 6 as long as it works for you, or as long as there's no security issue. So you install it on a VPS, a virtual private server, or a hardware server. But generally, hardware servers are going to be overkill for it. Just a VPS is fine. It's recommended not to have other stuff on that VPS so that it could just be your dedicated Sendy VPS. And then install Sendy on it, and it uses Amazon SCS exclusively. You can't use Sendy with anything else. It's built to work with Amazon SCS. So it provides you with a list management and newsletter composing interface and tagging and tracking and all that interface to utilize SCS with as a sending service. It gives you a nice newsletter editor and templates. There's no limit on number of subscribers. There's no limit on number of emails, number of lists. It gives pretty in-depth reporting for opened, unopened, clicked, unsubscribed, bounced. And it integrates very tightly with SCS for bounce and complaint management. So you're going to rest assured that anything that bounces SCS via the API would notify Sendy that it has bounced, and Sendy would automatically mark it as bounce. Same goes for spam reports, which is complaint status. You get stats by country, stats for individual link clicks. You get segmentation based on all of these stats. So it's pretty strong on segmentation. And it also has autoresponders for, I've made a typo over here, drop campaigns. It's more like drip campaigns. So you can have autoresponders, you can have drip campaigns, you can have campaign tracking with analytics. And so while it's not a full-fledged CRM per se, but you can have custom fields to store more subscriber data rather than just first name, last name, email address. So it could be like a very basic preliminary CRM as well if your CRM needs don't stretch towards using a more specialized CRM. So for basic CRM needs, if email is the only means of communication and just basic user data is what you want to gather, then yeah, it works fine. Don't expect like complex automations based on CRM features. And it has native integrations with a lot of WordPress ecosystem, many WordPress opt-in plugins, form plugins, newsletter subscription plugins, like widgets, many third-party widgets and third-party tools, Elementor, many other tools. Their forms or their newsletter opt-in widgets, they have some sort of either built-in Sendy integration, or you can find a free Sendy integration for them by searching on the repo or just Googling for it. So it's pretty easy to get your subscribers from WordPress into your Sendy install. Same goes for Magento, Joomla, and some other e-commerce platforms, some other CMS platforms. And it has countless other integrations to Zapier. And one thing that is unique about Sendy compared to all other tools that we are comparing in this system, in this series, Sendy lets you offer email newsletter service as a service. So like, let's say you have a bunch of clients, you want to give them their own sort of version of without tying it into their WordPress install, you want to give them their own, what do you call it, campaign software using your SCS account. They don't even have to connect their SCS account. They will be able to add their domains and all. So you could do that. And you can charge them for it. So they see a white label dashboard. They don't see Sendy branding. You could brand it as yours. So it's like running your own. Which one do you offer to your clients, Jonathan?
Well, we offer. Well, we got Mail Poet, but
the other one.
we don't really push that too much. We normally just offer Fluent CRM because.
No, I'm not talking about the CRM. Sorry.
Oh, SendGrid. SendGrid.
SendGrid. Yeah. So you could offer your clients a SendGrid of your own that is hosted on your server, then that is connected to SCS as the sending service. The client don't have to know who's offering the tools, and you sell your own basic version of SendGrid that is like good enough for a vast majority of small to medium-sized business clients.
Right. So is it really? Obviously, you got it on some server, cloud, or whatever. And you probably need it seems to me aimed at an agency or somebody like you that would, or somebody in I was going to say that in a medium to larger company, but they would probably just go with a service provider like Active Campaign or something. Is it really aimed at power
So,
users like you and agencies, really?
well, so for the installation itself, yes, you don't really have to be an expert. You just have to be, not uncomfortable with simply copying and pasting commands in a command line prompt. So you don't really have to know Linux server administration. You just need to be able to follow. They have a pretty robust instruction guide. So you just need to be able to follow those instructions, and it doesn't take a lot of tech chops to install. And in my experience, it's been a pretty much set and forget in terms of most of the Sendy installs I've handled. It's a very robust tool and very well built. And maybe there have been some security incidents, but none that I can think of. Maybe I haven't come across them, but it's been very secure as well. So if you want to seriously offer Sendy as a service to your clients, then yes, I recommend having someone on board or hiring someone like me, like some other professional like me, to set it up for you once, and then maybe have them periodically update it. Sort of have a bit of a retainer if you're earning money from it. If you're collectively earning, let's say, $2,000 from like 20 clients on it, then you might as well want to pay $100 or $200 per month as a retainer to a professional to make sure that the server is secure and updated and all. So yeah, that's a cost of doing business.
And the delivery platform is Amazon Web Services.
Amazon, yes.
So that's
yeah.
we've already discussed that with new domains or new clients with a domain, that they normally put it in a sandbox for a period. But so you need to be able to help the client with Amazon Web Services, really, don't you?
Yeah, I offer that service as well. So like I have this package of initial one-time Sendy setup with the Amazon SCS onboarding, like the complete package, getting you out of the sandbox as well. So that's like a pretty reasonable $1,000. I think pretty reasonable for like if you're gonna run it at scale, if you're gonna use it to make money, if you're gonna use it to charge your clients or run huge campaigns of your own from which you're gonna earn money, then the savings you're gonna make are gonna justify this initial spend. And then for maintenance, like we could have sort of a retainer arrangement that I maintain the server. I make sure it's secure. I make sure that it has all updates and patches as necessary for as little as $100 a month. So it's not that expensive. But yeah, if you're not talking scale and if you don't have in-house tech chops and you're not talking scale, you want to just use it for like your own basic campaigns, even then, you set it up once on your own. If you have an SCS account, if you want to go through the trouble of getting SCS out of sandbox port, even then, it's like $69 one-time fee. You can choose never to renew it. And hosting is as cheap as a $5 a month or $6 a month DigitalOcean droplet. So it's still like a pretty viable solution if you're brave enough to handle some of the command line stuff.
Right.
Shall we move on to the next one?
Yes, let's go forward.
All right. So next is Mautic. Now we're talking something more along the lines of a more robust CRM and marketing automation suite, akin to Groundhog and Fluent CRM, but not hosted on WordPress, not a WordPress plugin. So like Sendy, Mautic is installed on a server of its own. It takes more resources than Sendy, but it offers a lot more features than Sendy. And it's free and open source like WordPress. So it's like the WordPress of CRM and marketing automation, basically. WordPress equivalent of CRM and marketing automation. And very robust contact management, very robust email marketing features, if you want to build landing pages and forms, you can use Mautic to build them. You don't really need a separate website. You could have like your CRM, if you just need basic landing pages and not a like full-fledged separate website, you can run those on your Mautic install with Mautic native forms, with the data going into Mautic CRM in the backend and run your campaigns from there. It has lots and lots of third-party integrations, including with the WordPress ecosystem and outside the WordPress ecosystem, e-commerce platforms, other CRMs, Shopify, many tools integrate with it. And automated campaigns are pretty robust. Multi-channel communication, so not just email, SMS. I think there's through third-party tools. I think there's WhatsApp as well, and some other communication mediums. Account-based marketing, so like you can have user accounts. Your users can have like accounts in it, and then you can so like pretty advanced stuff. Website tracking. So since it gives you like landing pages and a website of its own, plus third-party website integrations, you can use that to track where users are coming from and whatnot. And it also gives you progressive profiling of users over time as they interact. You can like give them lead scores and build their profile further and further as they keep on interacting with you at multiple points. Some points of interaction could be your website, some could be the Mautic install, some could be maybe third-party social media platforms. So you can integrate their profile through many data sources. And it gives you very robust dynamic content embedding capabilities like any robust CRM would in your emails, in your campaigns and whatnot. And then very advanced reporting and attribution. So it's like a very highly sophisticated tool for all of your CRM and marketing automation needs. Though
So, what would you like if I kind of said to you, how would you compare it to, let's say, HubSpot?
Yeah, they are quite comparable, very comparable. Yeah, so it's like an open source version of HubSpot. Like HubSpot is the Shopify and Mautic is the WordPress.
Yes. Yeah. So, would you say it's so it's more HubSpot? So it's a bit higher than I would compare Fluent CRM as a very comparable competitor in the WordPress space to ActiveCampaign.
Yes.
But I think there's a clear difference between ActiveCampaign and HubSpot because
Oh, yes.
I think HubSpot's been so successful because they've found that middle ground between something like ActiveCampaign and Salesforce.
Yes. Or
And that,
Zoho.
yes, or Zoho. Well, Zoho is such a strange animal, isn't it? It's a bit of a, it's very hard to say where it is in the league of these
It's more,
systems, isn't it?
yeah, it's more like edging on the ERP space to some extent as well, considering all of the tools they provide. So it's not just CRM and marketing, and it gives you accounting, it gives you many ERP tools. So Zoho would be more comparable to somewhat of an extent SAP as well, but like SAP is for the even higher big guns in the top enterprise. But I mean, Odoo is also open source, but Odoo is like one step above Zoho. But yeah, Zoho is either almost there or getting there. But Zoho has that middle ground for somewhere in between a CRM and marketing automation tool and a full-fledged ERP. But yes, HubSpot is, Salesforce is also somewhat in that category. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the price. I think, yeah. So when it comes to interface design, one of the criticisms of utilizing open sources, and it doesn't always apply, but is that the UX and the usability functionality is a bit basic. Is this quite, how would you rate this particular product in those parameters?
So, I mean, for anyone who is what I'd say qualified enough, like practically qualified enough, or in the position to actually use Mautic, not just have it for the sake of, hey, it's free and open source, so let's just go with Mautic, but you have a real use case for it, then you should go in with the understanding of capabilities of such a system. So for such a person, I don't think getting used to the interface of Mautic should be any issue. But yeah, someone who's not tech savvy, someone who's probably a small business owner who's not tech savvy, who just wants a campaign sending solution, they would be way better off with something like Mailster on WordPress or at most Sendy. Mautic isn't for them. Yeah. And in terms of UX compared to the commercial alternatives that we've just discussed, those commercial ones may be a bit more polished, but I don't think Mautic is lagging far behind in that regard. It's pretty good, pretty decent.
Because when I'm discussing things with possible consultation clients, I've had a few clients that have looked at Salesforce, and unless you got somebody on board in your business, and Salesforce consultation is very expensive.
Very expensive.
They then look at HubSpot, but HubSpot is notorious for upselling and for getting people into quite long-term contracts at very high prices.
Yes.
So then they look at Zoho, and the problem with Zoho is it's great in parts, but like Zoho, if you're looking for a CRM as your organizational digital hub, I think the free version or the paid versions are a good option. But where I struggle is if you're wanting to do the marketing optimization, because Zoho provides a product. I forgot what it's called, but it's not one of its strong ones. And then they provide a separate product for their forms, and some of their other products are not that great. Some of them are very good and some of them are mediocre. It just gets very, in some ways, and the other problem with Zoho is their pricing structure. If you go, they used to do, I'm not sure if they still did a one seat product, but you got access to all the Zoho products, and they had over 50 of them. And I never recommended that. I said, you're better off just buying individually the bits from Zoho that you really use, because there's such a difference in quality between their different products. So, and I think the Zoho CRM starts at around $14 per month per seat. I think that's for administrators, people that manage the Zoho. I think you can have as many subscribers. So that gets a bit confusing, doesn't it? Because some systems, it's how many subscribers, how many people you're sending your emails to. Others are based a bit on the people that are admins of the system.
In Zoho, they charge based on both. They charge based on the number of contacts that you're going to have in the system, like number of recipients, and the number of seats. Like they have one plan with 5 users, one with 10 users, one with 20, and then custom plans beyond that. So
it's a bit confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a bit confusing.
The price of these 3 plans changes based on the number of contacts. Like, for example, if you have up to 500 contacts, then the basic plan is like free, completely free. And then if you want to have even for 1,000 contacts, the basic plan is free. But anything more than 1,000, you go to 2,500 contacts, and then you have to use the standard plan. So for 500 contacts, standard plan, which has more features, is $3. But for 2,500 contacts, it's like $12.75. And for like 3,000 contacts, it becomes $13.50. So it scales based on the number of contacts. And the professional plan, which for 500 contacts is $4.50. For 1,000 contacts, it's $9. For like 2,500 contacts, is $22, almost $22. So it's a huge mess.
It is, isn't it? But I think people still look at it because they haven't they're really Multic isn't on their radar. What's on their radar is HubSpot or
HubSpot.
Salesforce.
Yes.
And then when they look at Zoho, the same compared to HubSpot, because HubSpot does provide a free version, don't they? But
Yes.
it's very how to
Very
word.
limited.
Well, it's not crippled, but they have done a great job of getting you sucked into the paid system.
Yeah.
And then when you get, then the price accelerates very rapidly based on my
Yes.
experience. So people, and then you get exposed to the HubSpot sales team and their consultancy people and the price. But it's, so people look at Zoho because compared to HubSpot and Salesforce, where Salesforce, the marketing side to me, they bought that in-house. They bought that from a third party. Is that its real strength is more digital management of a sales process rather than marketing automation.
Yes.
And it's very powerful and very mature, but it's
Oh, yes.
very expensive. So they
It's
look
great
at
what it does.
so they look at
There's no doubt in
Zoho,
it.
and they're still attractive to it, but the pricing, it's such a mess, isn't it?
It is. It is. But if you use a lot of other Zoho tools, then yeah, I mean, it could work out for you. But the pricing is the biggest mess in Zoho. Yeah.
Because we could spend a whole show just trying to explain their pricing models,
Oh
couldn't we?
yes. Oh yes. Because generally, if you're gonna use Zoho, you're not just gonna use Zoho campaigns, which is their marketing automation and email newsletter
And
software.
I don't
You're
think
gonna
too
use-
much of that, actually. I
Yeah.
don't think it's one of their better products, is
Oh,
it?
it isn't. It isn't. But I mean, it gets the job done. So for many people who just need the job done, I mean, it's fine. It's not an awful product, but like, would I personally ever have it as my choice? No. But if a client uses it and they're fine with it, if it's working out for them, so much the better. So I mean,
I think the other thing that restrains, I like Zolo with WordPress, but one of the things with it is that normally I would use something like Fluent with WP Fusion with Zoho as a kind of digital hub. But the integration of WP Fusion with the Zolo CRM API is not one of the greatest ones
yeah.
at the present
So
moment.
you really don't want to use Zoho with like a WordPress based CRM because you're going to use Zoho itself as the campaign and CRM tool. So like the two don't really go hand in hand. You're not going to use Zoho as a sending service. You're going to use it as the tool to manage your list, to manage your contacts, to compose the campaigns, to do the segmentation. So that way, but I mean, with something like WP Fusion, you could sync other CRMs with WordPress in a better
So
way.
have
But
you
with Zoho,
done, before we move on, have you actually, because that's what I do actually. I use Fluent CRM to send out some of the things I do. And I have the free version of Zoho CRM just to store my customer records and have a central hub where I store everybody and their information. And then I use WP Fusion when it's
to bridge the
necessary
gap.
to connect the two together. Have you done that for clients yourself? And what's your thoughts about that?
I have, but not with Zoho in particular, with other tools.
Yeah.
Not with Zoho in particular, because generally the Zoho clients that I've come across, they like their WordPress presence at most has been like a brochure site.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else they've handled in the Zoho ecosystem.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that. Sorry, we've gone off topic. You want to go back to your
No,
slides?
we've been pretty much on topic, and it's a great discussion to have because there's a lot more to this entire marketing automation and CRM landscape than WordPress native solutions, and it's important that our visitors don't get only information related to open source or WordPress native setups, because these are big names and these are very relative names, the Zohos and the Salesforces and the HubSpots and all of them. So it's great that we are discussing them and making the comparisons as well.
Well,
But yeah,
it's so frustrating in a way with Zoho because it's still a good system, but
yeah.
this Multic, what do you think? Do you how does it work with WordPress if you're using?
Like you would, if you're using Mautic, you would, for most part in WordPress, use opt-in forms that that send the data over to Mautic.
Gotcha.
The rest you do in Mautic.
Okay. So in some ways that's similar to Zoho, really, isn't it?
Similar, very similar, yeah. Because it would be redundant to then try to do those same things in WordPress that Mautic is fully capable of. And in such use cases, I mean, for me, a general rule of thumb is if you are having to use WP Fusion, which is a great product for when you really have to use it. But for me, if you're having to use WP Fusion, you got to rethink. Either keep things over, like use WordPress as a way to just feed data over, or go for a WordPress native CRM system in the first place, like Fluent CRM or Groundhog.
The way this is the way I rationalize it, Haroon. I'll just give it to you, and then you can comment if you think I'm on the right track.
Sorry, before you proceed, I'm gonna add that that's my opinionated approach. I'm not necessarily saying that it's the correct approach. It's my opinionated approach.
Yeah, that's all you can do is to give your honest opinion, but and have the maturity is opinion. These are, folks, these are not black and white situations. There's a lot of nuance in this, and it's really a case by case scenario. That's why you need consultation, folks. The way I approach it, Haroon, is if you're an active campaign user and you can use Active Campaign as a essential digital hub, a basic one. It can be a basic organizational CRM, but that's a very basic. It's really more aimed at marketing automation. And if you're looking for a WordPress alternative, I think Fluent CRM and do this natively, it's a great solution, cost saving, and gives almost a similar power to Active Campaign.
I'd say better.
Yes.
Not just similar, even better.
Yeah.
Way better.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't have pushed it that far, but I'm delighted that you're happy to say that, because you know Haroon's the expert. I'm dangerous. I'm not an expert though. But then you have what I call organizational sales with some with a more sales orientated, but I classify them as essential digital hub organizational CRMs. But the problem is a lot of them, the marketing side is more of an afterthought rather than they were built like Salesforce. The one that tries to, and you definitely can apply that to Zoho, because Zoho CRM is an organizational CRM. And then they have this other product called Campaign, which I think it's okay, like what you said. They've also got a product called Books, which I actually like. I think it's a very nice product, Zoho Books.
Zoho Books
and
is
Zoho
pretty good.
and Zoho Invoicing isn't too bad. It isn't as good as Zolo Books, but I think they've combined the two together now.
Yeah.
So you got Books with Zolo CRM are two great Zolo products, but unfortunately Zolo Campaign isn't one of the greater one. Now the one SaaS that kind of does the marketing and this the digital hub part reasonably well, but out of not the greatest value, is HubSpot. I think HubSpot, that's the other reason why people look at HubSpot, because it traverses the marketing side and also the digital organization side in one coherent product. Do you think I'm on the right track there?
Oh, you are. And on this note, let me quickly, since we have the time, share my screen. Wait, just a moment. Because it's worth discussing this one as well. So I'm going to bring this browser window over. So this is also another option that is not just a CRM and marketing automation solution, but since we're talking HubSpot and Salesforce and Zoho, so Odoo is like a full ERP. It has CRM as a component, but then it has like subscriptions and signing and accounting and POS and rental and discussion board and document management, like the way you would expect in Zoho. And it's like inventory management, manufacturing software solutions, sales solutions, employee management, like HRMS, human resource management system, and social marketing component, email marketing component, a website component, a help desk component, planning, field service, and whatnot. So this I didn't include in my slides because I thought it would go way beyond the subject of email marketing automation.
Yeah, because in some ways you could say, "Oh, I've kind of scuppered it," but the reason why I think it was reasonably acceptable for me to put this in the conversation, Haroon, is that I found, based on my experience, and I think you could see where I was going with this, is there's an enormous amount of overlap between the email side and the CRM side. They always get mixed up in the discussion, do they not?
Agreed. And for many businesses, email and CRM need to integrate with a lot of other business operations. For example, if you're using Odoo, their marketing solution would integrate with their commerce solution natively. Same goes for Zoho. Same goes for several other SaaS we've discussed. So there are benefits of using the tools offered by these giant ERP platforms if you're using a lot of their other features as well, because then it's one system that they've built primarily to work cohesively together. And you don't have to worry about clunky integrations of many third-party tools. But if your store is on WooCommerce, then there's no point in having these systems for your CRM and ERP and whatnot, in my opinion. So in Odoo, there's like an open source version. If you scroll all the way down to the footer, you can download the open source version. It's usually a bit behind the .com version, like the commercial version. You can compare editions. You can download the Odoo community version, and then you can see what features it lacks, what features are shared among both, and you can install it as well. So the self-hosted version of Odoo could even be like a Mautic alternative as well, but I would not recommend using it unless you know that you need Odoo. I just wanted to just put it out there.
So I think before we go on to the next slide is that if you're just interested in marketing automation on WordPress, look at Fluent, CRM, or Groundhog. My leaning is to Fluent. I think you still like Groundhog a bit.
Oh, yes. I like both.
If you're looking for SaaS, probably look at Active Campaign or drip?
No.
No, not Active Campaign for the SaaS. You would disagree with that?
Well, like the way ActiveCampaign funnels are built, it's a bit of a nightmare to handle.
Well, it
to be
is,
honest.
isn't it?
But
Yeah.
I mean, it
I
is
was
what
just
it is.
comparing it. I'm just saying, compared to some of the other SaaS solutions, I think
Yeah.
for the value functionality metrics, it's still, but I totally agree with your comment there. But I'm just comparing it to some of the other SaaS-based solutions. You could probably look, there are some others, but there's about 3 or 4, but that are kind of stroke more from the email sending spectrum. That I'm looking for at the marketing automation email, so I'll still say Active Campaign. But
ActiveCampaign is a viable tool. Yeah.
But if you look at Fluent CRM now, if you're looking at the Digital Hub, I think and you want to integrate it with your membership site, is to look at form integration, but then utilize CRM and utilize Zolo CRM, but you're going to have to use Zolo Campaign, and you're just going to have to look at Zolo Campaign and make your mind up if it can do the basic stuff that you want. Because like I said, and I think you agree, it's not their best product of their suite.
It isn't.
Or you look at Multic as an option as well. So I think we're given some insight and some consultation. So shall we move on before I confuse people?
Let's move on, because
I confuse people even more.
Yeah, let's move on and let's try to wrap this up, because otherwise we're going to have to do a 4th session. There are a few slides left, so let me quickly go through them. So recommended opt-in forms. What I'd recommend, if you're already using a form plugin, a good form plugin like Gravity Forms, Ninja Forms, Fluent Forms. There used to be Caldera, but it's no longer, I think, a thing. WP Forms, WS Form. So all of these robust WordPress form solutions generally have an integration with pretty much every notable WordPress-based or third-party SaaS tool for managing lists. So you can capture lists, and using these forms, you can send those lists, those captured contacts over to the CRM of your choice, the marketing automation tool of your choice, the email newsletter tool of your choice, be it WordPress native, be it third-party. So you're already using a WordPress form. You don't need to worry about another opt-in form. Use your own native WordPress form that you already have in your workflow. If you aren't already using a robust form, then forms of your page builder, like Elementor's built-in forms, Beaver Builder's built-in forms, they could either natively integrate with many of them, or they may have third-party add-ons, plugins on WP repository that could add that integration. So you can use Elementor form to send a captured lead to Campaign Monitor. And natively, you could capture lead through Elementor form and send it to MailPoet, Mailster. So, I mean, the second option is this. Then if your page builder if you're not using a page builder, or your page builder doesn't really offer such a form with such integrations, then third option is, like, pretty much every campaign software offers at least basic forms of their own. Like MailPoet has its own forms, Mailster has its own forms, Campaign Monitor gives you its own forms that you can embed anywhere. So third option is use those. And fourth option, if you don't just want basic forms, you want like a full on solution that tracks, that gives you split testing capabilities, that lets you build pop-ups, build several designs of opt-ins on exit intent and whatnot, integrate them with like different workflows, different user experience practices of your site, then Convert Pro is a good opt-in form solution. There's another one from Elegant Themes called Bloom, but I mean, it's not as elegant as Convert Pro, if you will. Convert Pro is by the same team behind Astra WordPress theme and Spectra add-ons, Brainstorm Force. They're pretty good. So now let's discuss a few use cases. What I would recommend in such use cases: someone just starting off with a hobby WordPress blog, or maybe a brochure site of their small business that they've just opened, or a business that they just want to bring online now, and it's not like a business critical site at this moment. So use the platform as WordPress, because that's where your site is going to be. As the campaign software, use the free version of MailPoet, because it's free for up to 1,000 subscribers. The sending service for promotional, use MailPoet sending service, up to 5,000 emails per month for free. So like many small businesses are not going to outgrow this need as well. I mean, a vast majority of the websites that start off, they never exceed these requirements. They're going to take a year to grow to 1,000 subscribers, or 6 months, and they're never going to need to send 5,000 emails per month on a regular basis, maybe even like 1,000, 2,000. So if you're in that zone, if you don't see yourself growing explosively, then yeah, this is good enough for starters. Cut down your costs. It's practically free. For opt-in form, you don't need to buy a third-party form plugin for this. Use MailPoet's own free opt-in forms. If you want to separate a sending service for transactional, and you want to just use MailPoet's own sending service only for marketing emails, you don't want to utilize those 5,000 emails towards password reset emails and towards e-commerce notification emails and whatnot, then in addition to the above, install Fluent SMTP and as the sending plugin, and then for a separate email service provider for those transactional emails, use Brevo, which used to be Sendinblue, now it's Brevo. Up to 300 emails per day, totally free. So all of this setup, including separate for transactional and separate for promotional tools, as well as email service providers, with a limit of like 9,000 transactional per month and 5,000 promotional per month. That's like 14,000 emails per month. Completely free. The tools are free. The email service providers are free. You don't spend a penny, just your WordPress install and your WordPress hosting, but get a decent enough hosting solution. Don't go on one of the cheap EIG hosts or GoDaddy or anything like that. So next, now, if you're a freelancer with clients and you want to like keep all of your clients' campaigns in like one solution, then set up a separate server, VPS, install Sendy on it. And let's say the number of monthly emails across your 50 clients, you're giving them 10,000 emails per month. There are 50 clients. That's like 500,000 emails per month. Use the campaign software Sendy, which is $69. Hosting DigitalOcean for client use, I would recommend a $12 per month droplet rather than a $6 per month one. And then add 20% for weekly backups, because you do want backups. So that's like $14.40, roughly $15 a month for hosting, and $69 for Sendy. And then for 500,000 emails per month, you would pay only like $1 for 10,000, so $10 for 100,000, $50 for 500,000. So that's like for $50, you can serve 50 clients with 10,000 emails per month limit for each client. And Sendy lets you set limits for clients as well. So like, it's not like they can just keep on using Sendy till you're to increase your AWS bill to unexpected levels. So for every new client you add in Sendy, you can set their limits that, hey, this client is only allowed 10,000 emails a month. So you can charge these clients $20 a month, as little as $20 a month, and make around $935 per month profit with this sort of a setup. I mean, it's a very robust, profitable solution if you're a freelancer with clients. Don't seek any other solution, especially if you have small and medium business clients. You give them their own version of your own version of a robust campaign and list management and email sending solution. And they don't have to worry about configuring their own sending service and whatnot. So you would have to help them embed forms in their WordPress site to capture leads, but I mean, that's pretty easy. So next case, if you're an established influencer, you're a social media influencer, you have your own established following, you have your website on WordPress. Let's say your monthly transactional emails are 20,000. Your followers, they interact with your site. They have accounts on your site. They purchase your products on your site, your sort of swag you sell on your site and whatnot. And your monthly promotional emails are 250,000. So you have 50,000 subscribers and you send 5 blasts, like once per week on average. So maximum 5 a month. Could be 4 a month or 5 a month. I'd recommend the campaign software of Mailster, $49 a year. Hosting, you should upgrade your hosting account if it's currently underpowered, because sending large blasts using Mailster from your hosting account is going to require more resources than just a basic WordPress site. For email service provider, I would recommend AWS SCS because it costs just $1 for 10,000 emails. Opt-in form, use any existing form plugin, because if you're an influencer and you have a WordPress website, it's highly likely that you are using some form plugin already for one thing or the other. So just use that. So the cost is $49 for Sendy, $27 per month for emails, plus any hosting upgrade cost. And with this volume of outreach, influencers can easily earn over 10x this cost. Like you send 250,000 emails a month. You better be making thousands of dollars a month from those outreach campaigns. Otherwise, you're not doing influencing right. So this is a whole use case for an established influencer. Then we come to e-commerce or e-learning sites, or membership sites, if you will, because generally membership sites have e-learning associated with them or social network associated with them, e-commerce. So if your platform is something like WordPress plus WooCommerce and or LearnDash, MemberPress, event calendar, appointment scheduling plugin, podcast plugin, forums, could be like Peepso, could be BuddyBoss, private social network, potentially many more features as needed. Your monthly transactional emails are 200,000. Monthly promotional emails are 50,000, 10,000 subs time, 5 blasts. Campaign software, Groundhog Pro plan, or could be like Fluent CRM or Groundhog. Either of these work. Hosting, you should upgrade your existing hosting account to account for this volume of emails. Like by upgrade, I mean, if you're on a $20 a month plan, move over to a $30 or $40 a month plan, because it's like an investment and you're going to recover it.
Or you should host with WP-Tonic and you get all this as part of the plan.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Great plug and very relevant plug. The email service provider in this case as well would be AWS SCS, because hey, like $1 for 10,000 emails, why consider anything else in the first place? Opt-in form, your existing form plugin, no extra cost, because with such a system, you do have some robust form system included. So cost would be $600 per year in terms of the software, or roughly similar cost in terms of Fluent CRM. Groundhog is 600, Fluent CRM would be around 500 to 600 as well. Plus $25 per month for emails, plus any hosting upgrade cost. With this volume of outreach, e-commerce, e-learning, membership, social media, podcasting, and similar platforms can easily earn over 10x the cost. So like if you're spending this much a year, you better be making 10x only because of spending this much on CRM and marketing automation, not your other revenue that you're getting anyway. This should increase your revenue to a very substantial extent. So like it's a no-brainer investment. And I think this is the last case. So now we're talking something that may or may not be WordPress based. It's like an advanced custom web service. It could have been built in WordPress, but hey, WordPress is not the tool for building every single web service out there. So it could be like a custom MERN stack app or a Python Django app or something, web app. So your platform is custom. Your monthly transactional emails are 1 million. Your monthly promotional emails are 300,000 because you have 100,000 subscribers and you send them 3 blasts a month. Campaign software, hands down, Mautic, because it's free and you can integrate it. Like if you've coded your custom platform, you can use Mautic's API from your platform to send over any contacts to the CRM. Mautic gives you the code-based API that you can integrate it in any of your tools. Hosting, DigitalOcean, $28 per month or plus 20% for weekly backups. I mean, this is just a baseline. You would probably be spending a lot more on hosting with this sort of numbers. But this is like to start with. Email service provider, again, AWS SES, opt-in form, embed Mautic forms. So Mautic gives you forms that you can embed anywhere, or natively write custom code in your custom app to send your captured contact data over to Mautic from the backend of your custom app. It's just like simple API calls. And Mautic exposes all of those APIs. Mautic has robust documentation available for that. So cost, I mean, I'm considering only the cost of hosting Mautic. That's like $33.6, $33.60 hosting plus $130 per month for emails. So that's like $163.6 a month for like a million transactional emails a month and 300,000 promotional emails integrated with your custom service. I mean, it's free. It's practically free. At this scale, on Salesforce, on Zoho, on the other one, Campaign Monitor, it wouldn't even be considered for something like this. Let's say if we're talking
you would have been
HubSpot,
you'd be
thousands
bonkers.
of dollars.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars just on this, when you can very easily achieve this. And I haven't added a consultant's fee because I'm assuming that if you are running your own custom advanced web service platform, you have enough in-house expertise to handle something like this. This should be a piece of cake for your web guy who's already handling your servers for your custom web service. It should be like a no-brainer to use this. And with this volume of user base and outreach, any well-thought-out online business website should easily be able to earn over 10 times, maybe 100 times this cost. Why not? So yeah, that concludes with this last case study. That finally concludes our 3-part series, which was initially intended to be 1 part, then 2 part, and then now finally 3-part. And I think we didn't do we did do it justice. We didn't skip over anything.
I think I will make a separate channel in the WP-Tonic YouTube channel just for this series and for our ongoing shows, because it's more technical, it's more educational based. I was very happy that you agreed to do this with me, because I think it's going to be very beneficial for you and for me. But it's such a big subject, isn't it? The one thing I was going to ask you is if you agree with my spot, is that another difficult discussion on the lower end is to describe to people the difference between inbox functionality, transactional, and marketing. Yeah. Because the way we deal with it now, Haroon, is it was a very difficult discussion. Obviously, in the WordPress hosting space, the better, the more fully managed, and that term in itself, managed, has been abused so much that it doesn't really mean that much. Yeah. But when it comes to the more better hosting providers, the more managed ones, like WP Engine, but we had a discussion last week in one of my other shows where we were talking about hosting providers. And even though Jason Coman, the founder of WP Engine, is a personal friend of mine, and he's just a fabulous human being, if I was ever going to work for a company, it would probably be with WP Engine, just with the opportunity of working with him, basically. But I can't recommend it for membership because of their caching policies. But they don't provide inbox functionality, nor does Kinster or some of the other high-end WordPress providers.
No serious WordPress host like that is really serious about offering best-in-class hosting services wants to deal with providing email services, and for good reason. It also helps them filter out clients that they don't necessarily want.
Yeah. So we were having to try and explain this. So we went a slightly middle road. What we say to people, if people haven't already got an inbox provider like Google Workspaces or something else, we'll say to, well, we will provide you one inbox. We will provide you one inbox, but no others. If you have one web, and it has to be your domain that is linked to your website with WP-Tonic, and we will set up one inbox for you. But if you need multiple inboxes, you're going to have to go to an external provider. How do you deal with this conversation? I suppose you don't, because of the type of clientele you're dealing with. They already are aware of this, or am I making the assumption, or do you have this conversation?
They're not necessarily aware of it already, but during my onboarding and sort of discussion chats with them on the subject, I make sure that they understand the concept, and then I don't offer them emails as part of hosting in the first place. It's like a separate service. It's a completely different ballgame. So if they want email with hosting, they're gonna have to find a host that offers that.
Yeah, you put me on to provide. What we say to people is we got a short list, and we say really you got three choices. You can either go with Google Workspaces, and I think having one domain, it's just that you got to deal with Google, and if you have a lot of inboxes, it becomes quite expensive.
Yes.
You can have endless nicknames, but aliases. But if you want inboxes, it can. Or you could look at Zoho Mail. But I've had clients say that they have been, but you can apply this to everything we've said about Zoho, is that their actual technical support can be very spotty. Depending on the individual that you get, you can get somebody that's truly very knowledgeable and helpful, or you could get somebody that's basically just useless. It's all over the place with Zoho, or you could go with the people that you recommended to me. But I think which is MX Route.
MX Route, yeah, I was going to say that. I use MX Route for several of my small, medium business clients who do need lots of inboxes, and it's not justified for them to get even Zoho Mail, let alone Google Workspace or Office 365. Or there are other options like Rackspace also offers its own inbox.
Yeah, they offer, but it's not cheap. The Rackspace one, is it? It's but everything they offer. And 360, I've always had some nightmares with 360 getting it to work with WordPress websites. I've had some horrendous experiences. Have I been just unlucky, or you were smiling? So I presume that you've had some experiences with that.
So to be honest, I haven't had much experience at all with Office 365, 365 or 360, whatever it is.
I think it's 365, isn't it?
Yeah. So most of my clients, the ones who are on such a system, most of them are on Google rather than on Microsoft.
Well, Google's fine. I think the way I deal with it, I've got WP-Tonic-tonic.com, which I've got linked to a workspace, because it's the calendar system, and in integrating it with Zoom and other things, right? But I only have one inbox, and then I have WP-Tonic, which is very similar to my other domain, and I route that all through MX Route. So I have multiple inboxes, and that's how I've dealt with the situation. Right. Because it soon mounts up if you're a medium-sized organization with, because Google's so greedy, aren't they? It's like they depend on that $6 a month, like their life depended on it, didn't it?
Yeah, I used to have like 6 Google Workspace legacy accounts that I registered back in the day when it was free for organizations, but they first stopped allowing us to change the domain or add a new domain, and then they decided to stop allowing those free accounts altogether, I think a couple of years back. So now the only option is paid. Yeah.
Yeah, they were dependent. All right, I think we've had a good session. Our next session will be about Buddy Boss. It'll probably be a 2-part. It might end up being a 3-part session there because there's a tremendous amount I would probably surmise to discuss about Buddy Boss, because I've had some insane conversations about that particular product. What's the best way for people to find out more about you and what you offer, Haroon?
So you can visit my website, which is hqraja.com. H for Haroon Q, my middle initial, and raja.com. And you can reach out using the form on the website, or just email me hello@hqraja.com.
That's great. Well, like I say, we will be back, probably not next week, but the week after, where we start our mini series about Buddy Boss. If you found this useful, please leave a comment underneath the video and do subscribe to the channel. It will encourage us to make more of these videos, and any comments I will personally reply to them. And obviously you can directly contact Haroon if you're looking for consultation or advice. He truly is an expert. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.